What is up everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Now today we are gonna talk about the SYM Symphony ST200, the 2021 model, and it's about high time we did so, because this isn't just any ST200, this is my ST200. I have waited to do this review quite some time because I wanted to give you the opinion of a person who has ridden it a couple of thousand kilometers. I wanted to do the video at 5,000 kilometers, but I didn't get around to do it. I had other videos to do, and now we're gonna do it at 8,000 kilometers. I have ridden it in the city, I have ridden it outside the city, I have started modifying it, adding parts to it, and I want to give my opinion a little bit on this little scooter, because there's more than meets the eye to this little thing. We're gonna do our usual bit. We're gonna take it from front wheel, the back wheel, and go through all the details, and then I'm gonna give you my thoughts if you should buy one of these, or you should look to a different manufacturer, or maybe a different scooter from SYM. So let's get straight into it. Now, please excuse the muddiness. We're in a field. It rained yesterday, but I wanted to come here because I like how the scenery looks. So, starting at the front, we have full LED headlight. That's high beam and low beam. It's LED. We also have, let's see if we can see them on camera. We also have these neon LED strips as daytime running lights and halogen turn indicators. The turn indicators are the only thing that's halogen on this scooter. Everything else is LED. Up front we have a 16-inch front wheel, dual piston caliper on a 260mm brake disc with full ABS, front and rear ABS. In the rear we have LED rear light, LED brake lights, and like I said, halogen turn indicators. We have a 14-inch rear wheel on the back, but with a real meaty tire. And also dual shocks. They are adjustable for preload, so if you're a bit of a hefty rider or you ride two up all the time, you can increase the preload. And on this ST200 model, it's actually 169, but we'll get to that, you also get a factory fitted top case with the ignition key working to open the top case. It's a SHOD SH33 top case with a backrest. So if you ride two up, your passenger will definitely approve of the backrest and also of the grab rails. He can hold on as he joins you in your ride. Also, the passenger foot pegs are recessed into the bodywork. They're a different color, but they're easy to pull out, to deploy, in case you have to take a passenger with you. In terms of engine, this 200 model comes with a 169cc air-cooled engine. It's a dual valve engine, one intake, one exhaust. It's a pretty old style engine. It has fuel injection on the other hand. And also for the 2021 model, it has been upgraded to Euro 5 emission standards, and also SYM has played around with the transmission a little bit. So the transmission can make do with the extra torque that this provides compared to the 125cc liquid cooled version. The engine puts out 12 horsepower, 13 Newton meters of torque, but it puts them out at about the torque, maximum torque is reached at 5,500 RPM and maximum horsepower at 6,500 RPM. In terms of storage space, this 200 model coming with the top case included and also a very generous under seat storage. SYM says it has space for 2 helmets under the seat. I wouldn't know that because I do not use the underseat storage for helmets. My helmet sticks here on the D-ring, and I have all kinds of crap under the seat. I'm gonna include some stock footage here because I basically didn't empty it and it's full of crap. Now, the reason they could make such a big storage under the seat is because back here is the battery box with the battery, and the fuel tank is right here. Even though we have a flat floor, the fuel tank is underneath that flat floor. It's a 7-liter fuel tank, and with the neck, because you fill it up right here, with the neck, I estimate you get around an extra 1 liter of extra fuel. So it's about 7 to 8 liters total fuel capacity. In terms of fuel consumption, I have been getting anywhere between 3 liters per 100 kilometers and 4 liters per 100 kilometers, both in the city and on the open road. In the city, if you ride it sensibly, it will get about 3.2, 3.3. I don't ride it sensibly, I ride it pretty fast, and I get about 3.7, 3.8. On the open road, if you stick to around 80 kilometers an hour, 80 to 90 kilometers an hour, you will get 3 liters per 100 kilometers. If you go above that and you cruise at 100, you will get about 3.5 to 3.8. It's not the most fuel efficient engine, but I like it for its simplicity because of it being air cooled and for the torque that it provides. I really like how the low end torque feels, makes this scooter feel a lot more powerful than it actually is. So in terms of dashboard, we have a full digital dash with our speedometer, our warning lights, our trip meter, which turns to oil meter, and total odometer. We have a clock, and we can change the clock to a voltmeter. Also on the bottom, we have the fuel gauge. What I have added compared to stock is a quad lock phone mount, a big windscreen from GV, and some heated grips. These are the heated grips from Oxford. What I do like about this setup is that the windscreen gives you total protection against the wind. Also, it has these extensions right next to the handlebars, and it gives your hands a bit of a break from the wind and the rain in case you're riding in the rain. Especially for riding in the winter time, it is a must-have. Also, down here on the bottom, we have a luggage hook. Also, under the seat, there is a D-ring so you can mount your helmet. And right here on the left side, we have the fuel tank, which we use the key to open it. This is where you fill it up with gas. And like I've said, you fill it up here and the gas goes down into the fuel tank that is located underneath the floor. So, should you go out and buy such a scooter? Well, in the 8,000 kilometers that I have done with it, I found it for the city. Although this engine drinks a little bit more fuel than the 125 does, it has a lot more torque and it feels a lot better through the traffic. It's a lot zippier, it's a lot quicker in acceleration. From 0 to 80, it's about 5 seconds faster than the 125 liquid cooled. And also the big 16-inch wheels help. With the ABS brakes, the front brake is a very big brake disc for the size and weight of scooter. It's about 130 kilograms. So the brakes are a little bit oversized, which is good because when you need it, you have the stopping power. But what I don't like, and I will be changing, it's next on the list, are the stock tires. Now the front one is okay, it's muddy now, ignore that. But the back one, when it's dry outside, it doesn't matter if it's hot or cold. If it's dry, they both work perfectly. But when it rains, the back tire basically loses about half of its normal grip. It's absolutely horrible in the rain. I don't like it. Maybe some people do, but I don't like a twitchy back end, especially this 200 model has a lot more torque, a lot down low, and I do use the throttle quite a lot. I'm pretty heavy on the throttle. And every time when it rains, it gets very squirrely on me. And so I have a set of Michelin City Grip 2s, which will be going very soon on this scooter, and that should fix all of my problems with it. So in terms of modifying it, the first thing I would do, if you don't plan on riding in the winter like I do, with a windscreen and heated grips, I would suggest taking off these cheap tires and putting on a set of Michelin tires or other brand, which one you prefer, but some premium grade tires. I'm really curious to see how the dynamics of the scooter change on the new tires, and I'm probably gonna make a video on that. So stick around, make sure you don't miss it. Other features, on the open road I really like it because the 16-inch wheels at high speed give you a lot more stability. I've ridden it on straight fast roads, on mountain switchbacks. It feels very stable and very comfortable on all of them, and especially on switchbacks with such a light little scooter. You can really have a lot of fun chucking it into the corners. On the open road, you can expect an average speed of about 90 kilometers an hour. If you keep it at 90, you will get decent fuel economy. You can get about 200 liters out of a tank. And also you will be able to keep up with traffic. Now, it can go on the highway. If you want to take it on the highway, you can push it to about 110, but I wouldn't recommend it for long periods of time, keeping it on the highway. This is, after all, just a city scooter. It's not a highway cruiser, and I would suggest not trying to kill the engine on the highway. If you do a lot of highway kilometers, then I would suggest something like a 300 or a 400. They are better suited for the highway. But if this is your only option and you want to go on a long distance road trip, just avoid the highway, take the back roads. It will be perfectly fine and you will enjoy yourself. Trust me on this one. If you look on my channel, there are a couple of trips already, and I will be doing in the coming year a lot more trips with it, because I really want to see how far you could push the limits with this one. How far can you go before it gets uncomfortable? In terms of storage, compared to the previous model, which I've owned for 2 years, the doubling of the size of the underseat storage is like a breath of fresh air. When I bought it, I liked the bigger underseat storage, but I didn't realize how much I would end up loving the bigger underseat storage. I basically have it almost full all the time, and no matter what I've wanted to carry with it, there was no point when I thought that maybe I bit off more than I could chew. Everything I tried to put on it, I managed to put on it, and got me home with as much crap that you could possibly imagine. Now, you might be wondering, what has broken in 8,000 kilometers? Honestly, nothing. It has been stone cold reliable all this time. The only thing that I changed are the brake pads. At 7,500 kilometers, I had to do a brake pad change because the original ones were worn out. Now, that may not seem like a lot, 7,500 kilometers for a set of brake pads, but you have to remember, I do ride in the city and I do delivery work with it, so I ride pretty aggressively. I brake hard, I accelerate hard, that's why I have a pretty bad fuel consumption and a pretty bad brake usage. But it has performed excellently. I've ridden it in below freezing weather. I've also ridden it in the summer, in above 40 degrees weather. At no point did it stutter, at no point did it do anything. It has been rock solid reliable, at least up until now. If something does come up, you can rest assured that I will let you all know if a problem comes up and how to fix it and how much does it cost to fix it. For now though, this little ST200 and me have bonded pretty well, and I can't wait for the spring and the summer to come to take it on some really nice road trips and see how far can we push the limits of this little scooter and start breaking a couple of myths, because people always say that scooters especially are not good for long distance trips, and especially small engine scooters like this one are definitely a no-go for a long distance trips. Well, I'm gonna take a lot of long distance trips on it, and we'll see. We'll see if it gets me there, if it gets me back, if something breaks, and if something breaks, what broke? And how easy or hard or expensive or cheap was it to fix? And if you're in the market for a scooter of this size to use in the city and maybe outside the city for a couple of trips, the SYM Symphony ST200 has my seal of approval, as I am not thinking of changing it anytime soon. It's a real solid scooter. It has a lot of practicality built into it. It's quite an enjoyable ride, quite a pleasant ride. The engine feels nice and torquey, although it is a little bit thirsty compared to 125cc variants. But for what I need and how I like to ride and how I like the scooter to feel, at the moment it feels almost perfect. What I would like to add for long distance trips is an extension right here, so I can have highway pegs and rest my legs in a more comfortable position, because for city riding the legroom is fine, for long distance riding it's a little bit tight. But that's another modification for another day. Thank you so very much for watching my review of the ST200. If you have any questions about this scooter, please drop them down in the comments below and I will be sure to answer them. And until next time guys, take care out there and ride safe. Bye!